Hey, it's Thursday. Family Matters. One and only Kevin Peterson. Jay Staples here. How are you, Kevin?
I am a little wiped out. I didn't sleep well. I'm a little grumpy, so just like
This is the best Kevin. I mean, we're going to get the real Kevin now, which is amazing. So we try to do this every weekish to the best of our ability. We answer questions, so keep the questions coming. If you got a comment or anything like that, or if you got a question, we'll get to it either live or we can always come back to it. Kevin, let's get right into it. I've been hoping this question came for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I was just going to bring it up myself. I was going to ask a question to my own show, but so I'll just summarize it. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or anything, but it started with my nephew who's dating a senior in high school. He's a junior in high school. And then now the parents are preparing for next year's graduation party. And it just seems to be a common theme. So this mom and dad, they both signed it, but I would assume it's the mom. But she wants to know our thoughts on the graduation, the high school graduation, mind you, not college. High school graduation's the open bar where parents are, and my brother and sister-in-law like even mentioned it to me, like there is an overriding pressure for parents to host a high school graduation party, mind you, with an open bar, the parents being there and everything. And this mom and dad are saying, we are fully against this, but it just seems like there's so much pressure within the graduating kind of persona to have an open bar at high school graduations.
Oh, Jay, I'm sure someday you'll get me on something that I don't have direct experience in, but it ain't today, my brother. Let me tell you a little story about my sister and brother-in-law and my niece in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm just going to cut to the chase on this one. Girl got drunk at a party like you're describing. Mom and dad sponsored, funded, everything there. Hit a family head on and killed them. And I'm not talking about legend story for 20 years ago. I'm talking about 4 years ago. And let me tell you what else happened. All the parents got subpoenaed. And they all, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think some of the parents.
This was where I went first. I mean, this is a felony, right?
Oh God, yes. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. So obviously my sister and my brother-in-law and my nieces know I'm sober and da-da-da-da-da-da. And they talk to me. They're like, hey, what do you think of this? I'm like, that is absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. And my sister was like, do you understand the level of pressure that we're getting to participate in something like this? I said, yeah, I do. And it's something you can tell your cellmate about, when you go to jail. And they're like, yeah, I said, and it's something you'll be able to go when you go to the funeral, you'll be able to say, gosh, I wish we wouldn't have done this. I said, that is really how you have to look at this shit. Now, here's the thing. All through high school, both my nieces went to the same high school. All through high school, my sister was part of the committee that put together like the prom and after prom and all that sort of shit. And she always had a sober after prom, a sober bus. They all went and did casino night, and then the parents showed up at 5 a.m. and made waffles. They made it fun. And I'm not talking about the dorky kids. I'm talking about when my niece was a fucking cheerleader. Okay. And what happened was, yes, initially it was like, oh my God, you're going to the sober dork party. And then the sober dork party sold out.
Really?
Because word got out, and there was a sober bus. Because the other bus, this blows my mind. The other bus that the parents bought, that where there was drugs, alcohol, and a stripper pole for kids 14 to 18. And guess what happened on that one? Accusations of sexual assault to the quarterback, which were all then rescinded. But this guy's life was ruined, and it's like, no. And again, all through high school, my sister was like, we're going to organize the sober bus. We're going to organize the aftercare party. We're going to make sure they have a safe place to go and of course, everybody thought, oh my God, it's the Dork Patrol. But somehow the Dork Patrol sold out every single time. I'm not telling you my nieces have never had drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying I do, but I'm not saying that, they haven't had a drink underage or anything like that. But come on, parents, you do better. And let me tell you, I know some of the parents that were fearing for their lives about going to prison. And so
did it stop or affect anything moving forward?
No, of course not. God, no. Why would it stop? And that was the funny part, is that, again, my sister was there, I think, at this high school for 6 years, with both daughters, and got to know the school resource officer. Oh my God. Okay. This is all public knowledge. On the prom bus where there was the sexual assault charges, the the girl went to the school psychologist and told the school psychologist, who then evidently went to the principal and said, hey, what do we do? And they said, well, just ask her to sit on it and think about it. Which, by the way, is illegal. And she went to jail, the psychologist.
Really?
Oh, yeah. If someone comes to me, especially someone under 18, and says, I was sexually assaulted, it's an automatic dial the county phone. I mean, there's no do not, pass go straight to the county. I mean, that's a career-ending move that they teach you day one in graduate school. If someone says they're going to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else, or they were sexually assaulted, you don't. It's not up to your judgment. I don't care if you think they're faking it or making it up or anything like that. You dial that one in and you call it in and say, I just need to let you know that and it can be anonymous, but you got to record that. And she didn't, and she went to jail.
Well, I obviously knew all the reporting and probably losing of the license. I think, I kind of live in this, world like that it doesn't always get prosecuted, if that makes sense. And so it was, my surprise wasn't that she got in trouble. It was that she went to jail, which I'm all for here. But it's just, God, I mean, the more and more I talk about that, and even your kind of insights into it, I mean, there's nothing right about any of this. There's
at no point in the conversation of, hey, Jay, you know what we ought to do? We ought to host an open bar high school graduation party for our kids and their friends.
Yeah, and
no,
I guess it's a whole big thing. So they hire like AKA bouncers or something, and their job is to kind of, make sure that, everyone that was invited has an invitation, but their also job is to kind of monitor and make sure that no underage people are driving away. And someone that has numerous DUIs and have been, I have tricks, I'll just say, and I'm sure every 18, 17-year-old has those same tricks, that some bouncer that's getting whatever an hour is probably watching, but not really watching to see who's all driving off. I mean, this is just felonies waiting to happen and deaths waiting to happen.
And not only that, I mean, first of all, what kind of idiot would accept that job? I mean,
exactly.
I'm sorry, but I mean, no. Hey, would you mind bouncing people at our illegal party?
Yeah,
sure. Here's the thing too. Okay, so this guy does it. So maybe they gate everybody and say nobody's leaving in their car. Okay, cool. How are you going to stop the sexual assaults?
Yeah.
How are you going to stop the alcohol poisoning? Because they're bringing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to stop the overdoses? I mean, that is just dumb, and dumb.
And the bullying, I mean, just the multi-layered. I mean, you could have someone there that has no intention of drinking, and you're a high school trying to fit in and getting peer pressure to take a cake stand or whatever it is.
I think another time my niece was invited to a party by this guy that, my brother-in-law pretty much ran off. But it was I forgot what it's called, like cuffs and bottle or something. So you get handcuffed to a guy and you have a bottle of alcohol. And this was at some, like what you're talking about, like a secluded area, yada, yada, yada. And they printed flyers. And my sister showed it to me and I'm like, what idiot parent? and it turns out like the woman was like a psychiatrist or a doctor or something. And I was like, no, absolutely not. There is nothing good about any of this whatsoever. I mean, who would allow their child to go to such a thing? Number one, who would put on something like this? And so, my sister's like, what do I do? I said, you take that flyer, you march it right over to the school resource officer. And she's like, okay. And so let's go down. Yeah. Let's walk down this path. Every time my sister called me and told me about something like that, or hey, one of your nieces has that friend, that can't handle their liquor and gets into trouble, or does this, and this. A lot of times it was, should I tell the parents because I know that they're doing this? I'm like, let me ask you a question. How would you feel if it was your daughter and everybody else knew and didn't say anything? Number one. Number two, when you go to that kid's funeral, I mean, how are you going to feel about saying, God, I wish I would have said something?
Yeah.
I said, you are the adult. You have to be the adult. You have to say, hey, neighbor, your friend, your daughter, is getting in an Uber every night after you go to bed and going to her boyfriend's house and having sex and then coming home at 5 a.m. And everyone knows it but you, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, for God's sake, this.
Yeah.
This is how kids die. And everyone thinks, oh, it's just a graduation party. What's the big deal? I'm like, okay, well, here, let me show you the articles on the Boulder Daily Camera about all this stuff that went down. And it was horrific, absolutely horrific, And
so here's the suggestion. I mean, is the parents have to step up and just say, we're not hosting, and then but they're going to get the invites to the other parties and, so they can take a stand and not throw their, open bar graduation party and kind of that may come off as being the loser or something to the senior or whatever. And you're going to have to walk through that, but you're also going to have that same senior son being invited to these other parties and so forth like that. So, I mean, this is another prime example of, we have addiction running rampant. We have overdoses and deaths and whatever. And here's something so on paper is felonies and it's socially acceptable so many places, like all over. And families are having to be the bad person by not hosting open bar parties for their 18-year-old. Anyway.
You're assuming that they're 18.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'll just tell you. Yeah. I mean, my nephew was 16, 17, going to these graduation parties because she was, was dating a senior.
Yeah, my niece was 14, getting invited to this stuff, and my sister was like, her instincts were really strong. She's like, no. I said, yeah, hell no. But here's the thing I would say, and this is what they eventually evolved to, and I totally believe in this: offer them an alternative. You know, let them all come over to your house and have a casino night, have games, have yada yada yada, and have and then have breakfast or have a late dinner. I mean, give them an alternative. They will look, Jay. You and I know that the number of people that are, I'm going to go to graduation night or prom or whatever and get blasted. Let's say let's say there's 500 kids in the class. We're not talking about 450 kids. We're talking about maybe 50 or 100. So it's everyone. I mean, it's like when you and I got sober, we're like, oh, everybody else drinks, and it turns out, yeah, no, they don't.
Yeah.
And so it's really about, I mean, for me, and I mean, I do this a lot in my private practices. Your job is to be the parent. You're the intelligent ones. Just say no. I love you. And the answer is no. But hey, let's figure out an alternative. And I know the kid, I'm going to be people are going to make fun of me. Yeah, but you know what? You'll be alive.
Yeah.
And that's all that fucking matters at this point. So.
Well, I had no idea that is like, that was my greatest fear about the deaths and the, holding families. And I didn't do any research because but I'm sure there's probably handfuls of these stories each and every year. So it's just shocking to me. And this person that's writing in is like, yeah, you're going to have to kind of take a stand. And I think what your suggestion is not just say no and not have a party or anything, it sounds like if you're having open bars, you're willing to put some money into it, put it into a theme night, a casino night or something, a poker night, whatever it is. It's just.
We got a comment from somebody named Casey Gooding.
He's just this crazed fan. I mean,
he's obsessed. He says, thank God my family learned how to tell me no.
Jaywalker legend Casey Gooding. So yeah, no, I mean it's I hate to go back to Nancy Reagan, but just sometimes family just say no.
He's reinforcing, as I always say, I love you, and the answer is no.
Right. And that is a complete sentence. I mean, like, no is a complete sentence, and you don't need to necessarily file like, daughter.
Yeah, and let me tell you, and I got a bolt in a couple. Yeah. But in both situations, I mean, and this isn't one of those my friend's friends said their cousin's hairdresser's child. I know these people. In the first situation, the guy he had a scholarship to play football in a D1 school. Gone, over the time that it all occurred, all of the charges were dropped. Okay, but this was going on the cool kid bus with the stripper pole and the booze and the drugs, so that worked out well. And then a couple years later, it was the same thing with the after graduation prom party, whatever, that was hosted by the parents. And again, I knew parents that were, and my niece was like, I know that I got invited to that party. I know those girls. And that girl killed, I think she killed an entire family and hit them head on in Boulder. And it's no joke. I mean, and this is what that's horrible and that's horrific. And there's nothing good there. This all comes down to parenting. It all comes down to parenting. Are your kids going to drink and do drugs? Probably, but that doesn't mean you have to allow it or make it easy. Well, then they're just going to do it behind my back. Well, sit down and talk to them and explain things to them. They're not going to listen. I get that, but that doesn't mean you need to say yes.
Yeah. Well, this is a topic in itself, and so we'll hit all the rest of the questions next week. But Kevin, this just was shocking. It finally came through because I started just being wild. But anyways, saying no is a complete sentence. I think that can wrap up this show. So, all right, I'll see you.